Guys, this is PJ, the Kilted Clixman Bolin, and here's my partner.
Hey, I'm Scott Company Crampton. Welcome to Critical Clicks, an adult podcast for the competitive HeroClix player, where we put the hard R rating in HeroClix. And I am joined by an incredibly special guest that is very rare to do the podcast, Lucas Tom Tricentennial Cockpit Van Holland. Lucas, how are you doing, buddy? What an absolute pleasure to have you on. Also, Scott is here too. Hey, Scott.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm glad to be in the presence of the Tricentennial.
Yes. In many ways, we're all always in the presence of it. I am praying that they have finished these maps in time, because one of the things at this big Huntington's event is that we will have a Critical Clicks map there, to my understanding. And there is a special factory that supposed to have Lucas' name. I've not seen this map yet, but that is another thing that's supposed to be there. So Scott is joining us to talk about a new thing that he's doing, just started last week, called HeroClix for Huntingtons. Scott, why don't you tell us briefly about this new project of yours?
No, we did some really cool announcements last week, but HeroClix for Huntingtons has been in the works for, I don't know, about 5 years. It's kind of started out as WizKids sending me really special figures to auction off in a different charity event to raise money for the Huntington's Disease Society of America. And we eventually just rolled it into an entire event weekend. We partnered up with Howard Brock and Rock and WizKids, and now we do an entirely really cool, like, charitable event weekend with 4 different tournaments and battle royals online and virtually, and we have a huge auction that takes place. And this year we happen to fall May 4th through the 7th, and we'll be down in Huntsville, Alabama in person. But like I said, if you want to play along from home, you can jump into some online battle royals and you can take part in the auction. And
which have been huge. And what can they win in an online battle royale, Scott?
Yeah, this year, geez, you just want to get right to it.
I'm just wondering what they could win. What could they win? What could they
just win? Randomly wondering if people can get
what would be an available
Crampton as a bystander token as a prize.
Oh my God, me?
We have such cool stuff this weekend, and all you want to do is talk about where can you win the Scott Crampton bystander. The online battle royals are really cool. Everybody who plays in one is guaranteed to get something. And first place gets to choose what pog they would like. Now, some of the cool stuff about our event weekend is we have some really unique prizing. Become a Switch Clix, create a legacy card, create a bystander token, which you won last year. We've had 3 over the course of our HeroClix for Huntington's event history. We have the Scott Porter bystander token.
And how do you win that? You won that, right? You won the tournament.
I won it by being just awesome and coming up with the idea for HeroClix for Huntington's and needing a prize that would drive
It's a pretty good idea.
Raise over 30,000. Yeah. Anyway, so we also had Spirit of the Game last year. And this year we have the Scott Crampton bystander token. So first place gets to choose if they would like a bystander token, which one they want. Everybody else at the table also either gets a bystander token, or places 3 and 4 also get just a tarot card, a random tarot card. And that's one of 70. It's not just the ones from the booster brick. It's not just the ones from the OP kits. It's random from 1 through 70. And I know a lot of people don't have all the tarot cards yet. So
I don't have all the tarot cards yet. PJ, you probably do. But yeah, Lucas, do you have them all?
I do. Yep.
I know one actual human that doesn't directly suck HeroClix dick that has them all. Like, literally, I know one casual person. It's so rare to have them all. Like, it's so incredible. I have like 60. And I traded heavy for some of them. Some go some easily go 30, 40 bucks without a shadow of doubt. So right there. And then my assumption of my pog will be 300, 500. Who knows? I know right now people are considering how many Carnage Silver Surfers do I trade for a Scott Crampton pog. Right now, 4 is acceptable. 4 is acceptable, but you get a deal, maybe 3. Maybe is it worth 3? Absolutely. Absolutely worth 3.
Okay.
So
Yep. Yeah. Four. It's just four, right? Four is always the number you want. Four is
yes,
every number on the
four is
pog. Four
every single
is.
number. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But you can't only. It's not only online battle royals where you can win your bystander token. I know we'll just get into the rest of it because I know you want to know as many ways possible for people to get a hold of your bystander token. You can win it in any of the tournaments. If you place in the top 32 in the individual tournaments, if you place in top 16 for the team tournament, you'll be able to win a Scott Crampton bystander. And if you play
Did
battle
you see him
royals in
swallow
person,
there? Like you could barely get through it.
well, I'm
Like
just so used to talking
Scott,
about myself. I had to
Crampton
course
bystander.
correct on the last name.
That was
But
so
yeah,
hard.
so yeah, in-person battle royals, everything. I mean, this pog will be everywhere. And I actually think you did a pretty damn good job on designing this thing, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yes, yes.
Imagine being Scott and just wanting to design a pog so people will actually touch him.
That's right. Yeah. There's a good chance that for nationals, you'll sit across the table. I'll be playing, with myself, and then you'll probably be playing with me too. And there's a good shot that depending on when the Scott Porter figures, because when he saw I had a pog, he had to make 2 figures. When these Scott Porter figures happen, it's going to be people are going to be playing with multiple Scotts at the same time, just right in front of everybody. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know what you're talking about out there, for any of the Critical Clix listening audience, last week we did a live stream through the WizKids YouTube channel. If you missed it, go watch it, where we talked about all of the prizing that we have for this year's HeroClix for Huntington's event. And the thing that's really cool is I've wanted this to be a year-long initiative for a while. We just weren't sure how to do it. And WizKids came to me and were like, hey, we want to make a Scott Porter figure. And then we want to make a HeroClix for Huntington's variant. We want to make 2 figures. And we want them to go on sale at different points of the year. And we want to donate 100% of the proceeds to the Huntington's Disease Society of America. So we announced both of those figures last week. We've got a Scott Porter HeroClix for Huntington's variant, and then a Scott Porter Powerbomb variant, which I was super stoked to design. I've wanted
Powerbomb's the best, but like so few people that predates PJ, right? Does like Lucas? Who remembers? Like I remember Powerbomb. It was talked about every 10 seconds. People would drop constant fake figures, fake spoilers, fake things. And I remember briefly that people thought Casey Flash was actually just part of Powerbomb. Like the real Casey Flash was so good that people thought it was fake. Scott, tell us about like what Powerbomb was for you.
Yeah, I just remember I used to be over on HC Realms. I used to be in the team building thread as one of the like co-mods.
Yeah, back when you were good.
I was living in Japan for a year, so it was a way for me to stay connected to the game because there's just you've never been able to play Clix in Japan, and I was over there for a full year. So I played online at Creation Matrix and HC Realms, and then I was doing team building advice and stuff like that. And next thing I know, it's like all these people start asking about when these next wave of figures come out, like what it's going to obliterate the current team builds, what we should watch out for. And I was like, what is everybody talking about? And there was a fake thread made about leaked information on a set called Powerbomb.
Yeah.
And it was a real parody, like kind of pointing at power creep, what was happening in the game itself and how figures that cost 44 points 2 years ago, because 44 used to be the magic number. For a long time, HeroClix players, if you had a 44-point figure, that thing was stacked. Veteran Havoc. There was a bunch of 44-point figures that just seemed that was the sweet spot. And then they started putting out
I think.
In Powerbomb, it was like what should be a 1,000-point figure was fitting into 44 points. And it became just this really funny thread. And then it became this mythical set. Everybody started to realize this thing wasn't true, but Powerbomb was just a word that would get dropped all the time. So that's when they called, they were like, hey, we have an idea. We want to do a Scott Porter figure where maybe you're in a football uniform and we give you like football style powers because of Friday Night Lights, or maybe you're in this kind of costume, like from one of your roles from the movie. And I was like, before we ever did anything like that, I want to do something that like is Clix centric. that is a bit of an Easter egg for people that have played this game for a long time. And I can derive powers from the brick of Power Bomb. Like, this brick is so powerful that now Scott Porter has Pulse Wave and Knockback for free. Like, it's just like, that's to me, like, that's the dream. So that's what
Powerbomb was such an amazing idea. It connected the entire community forever. People would I made at least 5 or 7 fake figures and like literally put them out in like my articles and that kind of stuff. I remember commenting like when people would throw a huge like fit, they're like, I can't believe, Songbird and Fantastic Forces. And then you'd be like, that's nothing. Have you seen the 4-point Galactus? Like that kind of thing. Like for 7 points, you get a 19 range.
But to their credit, and I'm gonna pull one of you guys' terms here. Brilliant WizKids and Charitable WizKids. They said, let's make both of these figures and let's give all the money to charity and let's release them a couple of times throughout the year, so people are constantly thinking about HeroClix for Huntingtons. And what they told me is it's going to be like a run of 1,000 figures. They're going to be $20 a piece. And upon receiving them, they're just going to cut a check, regardless of sell-through, for the entire order to the Huntington's Disease Society of America. So WizKids,
that is incredible.
I can't say enough about them. Being partnered with them for the last 5 years now, really. I know 3 years of the HeroClix for Huntington's event, but even before that, they were helping me out in different ways to raise money. And man, it blew me away. I literally was beside myself. I could not, because I have 2 figures, not just one bystander token. I was literally beside myself
with both hands. You can play with yourself with both hands, is what you're telling me.
But no, I mean,
with a small little pog. I gotcha.
but it really blew me away. And so starting May 4th, which is the day that our event opens, people will be able to go to WizKids directly and pre-order the HeroClix for Huntington's variant, and just watch out for their announcement of when they're going to put the second one up for pre-sale later this summer in the heart of convention season. So that's kind of the idea.
Now, when you'll be able to get them. Scott, I'm sure you want to talk a little bit more about your figures, don't you? But we're actually going to be doing a quick word from our sponsors. So let's cut to that. Okay, so we never have sponsors, but in this rare time, somebody reached out to me, and then I said, you know what, screw it. Let's I'll open it up to anybody. So we have 2 sponsors today, both donated $100 to HeroClix for Huntingtons. Our first sponsor is Mark, and I do not know his last name. It's Shabunny. Anybody got it? Lucas,
Shabunya.
PJ, can either of you read?
Shabunya.
Shabunya, Mark Shabunya. He is part of FlairyPoppins.com. That's his Etsy shop. So that's Flairy, Flairy, Poppins, Poppins.com. It's his Etsy shop. And what does he do? He makes really dope vinyl trays. And I want to share those with you guys at our next commercial, because he technically paid for 2 spots.
Wow.
But what he does is basically the vinyl rolling trays that are very cool, the thing that actually catch the dice. He can put your logo in them. And we will have 4-point gaming ones, and we will be also having Critical Clix ones as well. So I made a few extra ones that we'll be giving out at HeroClix for Huntington, somewhat randomly, made for people who we feel like have done an amazing job for the charity. And then Scott Porter, as part of this, has something he wants to say that I put in the chat.
Oh, yes, of course. I would love to say a happy birthday to Grayson,
who is 2
named
years
after
old.
One of my favorite heroes of all time, I'm assuming, Nightwing. Well done. Well done.
Actually, it was Robin. What's wrong with you? Comic book
No,
knowledge.
no, he wasn't cool until he was Nightwing, though.
Okay.
Tim Drake's the best Robin. Tim Drake's the best Robin of all time. I'm leaving. No, no, but happy birthday, Grayson, dude. 2, the big 2, man. You don't understand a word we're saying to you right now, but eventually, your dad will play this for you, and then you'll be highly embarrassed.
Absolutely. It'll be very exciting because he'll be able to He'll be 3 or 4 when he's truly seeing this and realizing that he's already taller than PJ. There's a lot of great things there. Yeah, quite literally a low bar. You're right. That's correct.
Before he was Nightwing, he was just a dick.
Oh no. He's 2.
No, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lucas constantly going after our 2-year-old demographic. This is why we cannot have a good 2-year-old demographic, Lucas. We're constantly railing into them. Oh my gosh. Not meant for children for many different reasons. All right. So we're going to flip a little bit. I want to end with some of the HeroClix for Huntington's excitement, but we had some questions. Lucas, are any of these appropriate?
Actually, most of the questions are pretty.
Wait, for the 2-year-old audience, or for...
No, this will be
for
for
us.
this is close.
Making
This is
sure.
for the celebrity audience. So we had supporters on tomorrow. Any questions?
Yep. So from our HeroClix group, I guess because Porter's on, they decided to tone it down. Usually they're incredibly inappropriate and wild, and we don't read half of them. But from the first one is from Brent Harris. It says the MCU called, and it's time to cast Scott Porter as a character of his choosing anywhere in the multiverse. What does he choose, and why was it Paste Pot Pete?
Okay, now first of all, Trapster. I mean, he's not bad. Doesn't suck, but okay. No, it's Richard Rider. It's Nova at this point.
Okay,
that's who I want to play. Like a older mentor to, like, they could put Sam in it. They could do old Nova, young Nova. They'll probably kill me within the first 20 minutes. That's what they like to do to Richard Rider.
I'm gonna be honest. If I really thought someone was going to pick that character, I thought it would be Crampton. It would be the Dick Rider, but you know.
Oh. God. That's why I only come on this show once a year.
Yeah, that's for
charity.
That's for do it at your own risk. Yeah.
Could I, Scott? How about Bailey Hoskins? How about that guy? I think that would be a good look for you. The mutant. Are you familiar with him?
You. Why don't you, the lore guy, explain
Absolutely.
to me? I want to hear this.
So Bailey Hoskins is part of Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, and he has the power of self-detonation. But he can just do it once.
Spontaneous human combustion.
Yep. I'm reading this right now on the wiki.
Another
it
one.
says powers self-detonation, can only use his powers once, as his power to detonate does not include self-regeneration.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like Geodude and Pokemon using self-destruct.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I wouldn't want to be that, Scott, but you know.
I think that's appropriate. That's enough. That's good enough screen time for you as a mutant. You could do something cool with it. It could be like you try to self-destruct next to Magneto, but he puts his shield up and then he's just annoyed. Huh?
Dude,
huh?
the real shame of it all is that, like, all my favorite characters have already been played by somebody else. Outside of Nova. Nova.
You make a good Nova. Honest to God, you would make a great Nova. You have that, like, handsome older man thing. You know, Nova's like 65. So yeah. I'm just kidding. You would make a good Nova. I shouldn't.
Yeah, no. When I grow
Scott's
this beard
arms
out
are
now,
2 of my arms.
So I just had ankle surgery recently, and that's why I've got the 90s hair going on. I haven't been able to get a haircut. I was off my feet for quite some time. I was in a walking boot, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, the last time I had ankle surgery, I was up and moving pretty quickly. What is different? Oh, it was a decade ago. Oh, that's right. I'm almost 44. Yeah, the recovery is a little bit slower now. So you're not too far off.
No, I'm doing wrestling training right now. And after my first day of wrestling training, I was not able to do anything. Like, physically, I was pathetic, like crawling places until like Sunday. I did it on Thursday.
Do you have a tag team partner that's of similar size and they call you the Tweedles?
I got nothing. That's good. That's pretty good.
Oh God! All right, our second question is
question.
the fastest judge in HeroClix, Anthony Barnstable. He says, "Question for Scott. I won't clarify which Scott is officially the lesser Scott now."
That's challenging.
No, it's not.
Listen, man, I'm gonna high road this. And just to be clear to everybody out there, Scott has been I think we might be the only charity Scott ever's taken up for.
That
but
is
Scott
correct. I am, but I want, before you do anything nice for me, Scott, I wanted to share something very special with you right now that you do not know about.
Oh no.
I'm very excited about this.
I was just about to be nice.
Oh yeah.
Don't ruin this moment.
I'm going to ruin this moment because you might accidentally make me feel bad for what I'm about to do. So I spent $400 extra on trophies for the HeroClix for Huntington's event. I spent $400. You can get a lot of trophies for $400. And let me give you a key point of reference. None of these are for first through third place.
Oh, great.
So here's something. Scott will actually be playing. You'll be playing in these events. Is that correct, Scott?
I will be.
You will be playing in this event. And,
yes.
so often you can win a bounty from you or something like that. But a bounty's nice. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a trophy? Well, there is. Look at this. It's a mug trophy. It's going to be hard to see, but it says
greater than Scott
Porter Award 2023. And I made 5 of these. So the question is, how many days? You better get there the first day, folks, because these could be gone in a first day, but there are 5 of these. If Scott loses, anytime Scott loses, you will get one of these special awards from me that states that you are greater than Scott Porter.
So you might have screwed yourself here though, because I'm in the Scott Porter versus the World tournament on Friday.
You are.
And that's the sealed tournament where we're playing with Avengers 60th, like over a month before the set comes out. Which I'm actually doing the unboxing for in a couple days. I'm actually, my head is going to explode with Avengers information as I'm trying to, I have no idea what's going to be in this set. And I'm just reading a bunch of random Avengers shit. But yeah, I only lost twice in that tournament last year.
That's true.
But then if you still have some left over, say I lose 3 times in that tournament, right? Let's say that happens and you've got 2 left, and then I'm in battle royals on Saturday. So what happens if I don't get first in a battle royal? Do you give the remaining mugs to first and second?
That was the goal.
Battle royal?
That was the goal. And you know what's going to be in Scott Porter's cup? Failure. That's right. So we have,
how long did you workshop that joke?
Last night. Last night. I was pretty proud of it.
Dude, I love this, man. I love this. No, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is Scott Crampton, as much as we want to say, is Lester Scott, and he is in so many ways. But when it comes to supporting this event, he's one of the greatest we've got. So big thank you to Scott. And I will not perpetuate the. Oh God, what is?
And if you're not one of the greatest at the first on Thursday, this is you would think first place trophy. No, we have 3 of these and they're all going to last place on Thursday. You cannot drop on Thursday because this is the trophy. It's a little guy here. He says, it's a skunk. He says, you stink. It's a running theme. We have multiple different crazy fun trophies for random different events.
I love this.
But Scott, I felt like it would be unfair. So if you really... you crush your opponent, I might actually if you just break your opponent's will and spirit, I do have another trophy as well, which is the You Stink, Things Went Wrong. And that's what it literally says. HeroClix for Huntington's Things Went Wrong Award. We'll be giving these out as well. So many people who are failures will be winning things or succeeding. But yeah, these are for the King of New Orleans. These are far and away the most popular trophies. So I had a bunch made. But yeah, so be first to beat Scott. That's one of the important things here to get your official award, because we only have 5 and I'm not making more. So anyway, Scott, you were going to say some nice things about me, I believe.
No. He's Lester Scott. I'm greater. Let's move on.
All right.
I've changed course. I've changed
Lucas,
course. I've changed my
Lucas, what else do you want?
Yeah, next question here is from Aaron Morgan. This can be just a quick one. It's just what figure are you all most excited to use at a near tournament? So with HeroClix for Huntington's, I guess we can go through that. What figure are we most excited to use or to see? Scott, if I know you don't typically play constructed very often, so if you have a figure you'd like to see hopefully show up in Avengers 60th for sealed that you wouldn't mind pulling, we can start with that.
Oh man. I'm guessing that the multiversal Masters of Evil are going to be the chases for this Avengers 60th. So, man, you know what I want is I want where they spun out of that Avengers Forever book that was written, and we've got the Tony Stark Ant-Man already from the last set from Avengers Forever. I want the Infinity Gem thing. There's in that storyline, there's Ben Grimm, but all of the Infinity Gems are in him, and he's Cosmic Thing, and he looks like this like multicolored disco ball version of Thing, and he's crazy powerful. He's awesome, and that I want that specific version of the Thing. You know, I'm not usually a tentpole guy, but I would love to see what they would do with Ben Grimm, the Infinity Thing. So that's what I would like to see.
That is a great one. I have a same thing with Infinity Gauntlet. I'd like one of the newer characters in the Marvel Universe, Scott Crampton, to have a Infinity Gauntlet and a 300-point version of Nighthawk. PJ, how about you, buddy?
I cannot wait for that to be over.
Don't let me win again, folks. Don't let me win again.
He has one special power. So here's the thing. And I just want to bring this up, right? We've seen great heroes like Tony Stark put on that gauntlet and lose half their body and then die almost immediately after using it. That Infinity Gauntlet, Scott Crampton would have one special power, and it would be on the first and only click, and it would say, if you use a power, Scott fades out of existence. I mean, you have one shot. You get to use one power one time. And then Scott Crampton melts. He just turns to dust. That's what would happen.
It's the
Honestly,
old chaos orb from Magic.
Rip it up, throw it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What was that? Chaos orb? What was that?
Chaos orb, yeah.
Yes. That would be great. If you rip up Scott Crampton's card, you throw it, everything dies that touches. And it lands
Then you
on
lose the
that.
game.
Oh my god, that would be great. Like literally you had to like rip up my card with like a big face of me. That'd be fantastic.
What about you guys? What PJ? What
PJ?
I'm looking forward to I'm basic. I'm looking forward to playing Danger Room Mags again. So
okay. Yeah, that is a hell of a
damage is back, and the 3-square knockback is such a big change for how he'll play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for that.
We know Silver's coming up, so there's no secret for me. Everybody knows what I'm playing.
Try
The big 6-arm boys, baby. I will say, you know, with all this talk about Scott Porter's and Scott Crampton's figures coming out, about damn time we finally get some decent mastermind fodder. I'm just so ready to finally have figures that I'm just willing to just let die. It's just I've never been happier.
Murdering Scott Crampton is going to be a great feel.
Every team, I will make sure if Scott will be on every team because I will have mastermind on every team.
All right, so this is true. I never signed a WizKids NDA, so I can talk a little bit more about it. So I just want to note that my first pitch was that I was 1 point and had no powers and was not unique. That was my first pitch, was just that I was a 1 point figure that had horrifyingly bad stats. I couldn't do anything, no powers, just basically I was Leon Harper, but just 1 point and not unique. And then people would need 5 of me for mastermind fodder. And I thought that would be amazing. But
it would be awesome if you had like the Nova from Marvel Snap Power. It's just one special, you're 1 point, no powers. But if Scott Crampton dies, every person on your team gets 1 click of healing. Just in the celebration of you
celebrate. It's just called celebrate. That's the whole power.
Celebrate the passing.
It has like the grunt headshot party sound that happens in Halo.
All right,
it's just a bunch of kids that like so.
You're the only person on this podcast I trust. Will you do me a favor? If I die, will you please play this video briefly at my funeral? I'm being serious. Honest to God, that is a wish I have now.
And now a quick video from Scott's time at Critical Clix, and it's just us laughing about him dying.
Everybody's like,
my gosh. Oh, okay.
All right. Oh, that would honestly be so great. And he had celebrity friends, and just Scott Porter. If Scott Crampton died, we'd all celebrate.
Yeah, You turn it into like a propaganda mix-up of all the different lines, but out of order. So it just looks like we all just want Scott to pass.
You know what, too, Scott? Like that wouldn't even make that wouldn't even be viral. Just be like people would see it and be like, okay.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair.
Fair
That's
enough.
fair.
Fair enough.
Here's
yeah.
a question. Steve Bumbra said, Scott, how often do you actually get to play Clix?
Is his last name actually Mumra?
Yeah, that's correct.
Bumbra.
Mumra. No, it's Bumbra. But he would
Okay.
prefer
With a
being called
B.
Mumra.
Yeah,
Stephen Mumra.
this immediately had Thundercats pop into my head. Yeah, no, I get to play maybe once or twice a year out here in California at my local venue. A lot of them, unfortunately, have died. And I used to have like 6 venues I used to go to out here. And
Look at how much you say died and how sad you were when a venue died. 10 seconds earlier, you're like, yeah, if you kill Scott.
I was talking about a pog on a map. I wasn't talking about actually you. No, it's so I get to go a couple of times a year to play, and then I get to play in some of these really cool tournaments. Like going down to Orlando was awesome.
Yeah.
And playing in teams down there at the Clix Open Championship, and then you know, Huntington's weekend. I get to play at HeroClix for Huntington's, and then probably like 2 other times. So, and then when I go to Toronto, because we actually filmed Ginny and Georgia up there, J Saul's store up there, I've been to a number of times actually. I'll just show up and play against all these Canadian national champions. I'm just like, why am I here? What am I doing here? Because they are a meta as hell store.
Oh, they are meta.
They are hyper meta. Yeah. And I showed up with the Acolytes one day. What am I doing here? I got
Fabian,
one win.
Fabian tries his best, okay? Fabian does his best. He just can't quite get there.
Oh,
man. I hear about Scott Crampton, too.
Scott, I want to broach this into a quick story. I heard this on your podcast, but I've never heard you talk about it on another podcast. Obviously, Friday Night Lights, I'm a big fan. People don't actually always know that. I'm not just sucking up to Scott Porter. Well, before I met Scott Porter, I was a huge fan of Friday Night Lights. It has everything I like in this world. It has football. It has drama. It has Minka Kelly. Everything I could possibly ever like. And you did something with no, that's going to set that up badly. You took Minka somewhere, to my understanding. You have a story about this that in maybe season 1 or something. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I have a big I have a small checklist of things I do when I go to a new location to start working. And the checklist is find a comic shop, find a karaoke bar, find a basketball court. And look, people think that when you're on a show, automatically you and the rest of the cast are all best friends and you're going everywhere together and you're doing everything together. It's not true. It's not what happens. So if I really want to get to know a town and make some actual friends, I want to go do the things that I love to do and find people that have those shared interests. So when I was in Austin, we were filming the second episode, and we still didn't have like all of our cars in town. Like everybody was moving to Austin, and Zach Guilford, who played Matt Saracen, was my roommate at the time. And so I would borrow the one car that we had between the 3 of us, me, Zach, and Minka. And they were like, what do you need the car for on a Wednesday night at 6 p.m.? I'm like, I'm going to Bee Cave Comics and Games to play HeroClix. And they're like, what? Why do you have a fishing tackle box? I'm like, because this is where I keep all my HeroClix. And they were so intrigued. They were like, we want to come with you. I was like, no, you guys don't want to come watch me play my X Factor team with my Quicksilver, with armor piercing.
Which back in the day, that was a real team. Like he could have gone 3-0 on that with that team back in the day.
I did number of times. X Factor
was like real.
Yeah, I used to crush with nanobots. Would throw nanobots on Quicksilver and have a couple teams out there on the board. Like, and that veteran havoc, like I've talked about. Anyway, long story short, way too late. They went with me.
So Minka Kelly, who is an incredibly talented actress and also legitimately like a model, comes with you the nerdiest thing humanly possible.
Yep.
And then is at some point in time forced to kiss you on set. Did that make it more awkward for her?
She had already had to kiss me. So
all right, fair enough.
This was beyond that. I didn't like share my nerdy secrets with her.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, Scott, but when you are a character on a TV show, you're not actually yourself. So when she was Lila Garrity and I was Jason Street on screen.
Yes.
So Lila Garrity wasn't thinking about Scott Porter's HeroClix.
But we hard
passion.
not to, in a way.
Okay.
I mean, she's a very good actress, but there's got to be some kind of line, right?
The funniest thing was to see everybody at the shop being like hyper distracted the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Like just another reason I was 3-0. They're like, did you bring that woman with you? Yes. Yes, I did.
And Zach Gilford is also like a very good looking person. And obviously so is Scott, but it could have just been girl at that time.
Yeah.
Bring girl with you. Like just any person on the set that was a female, they could have been like, oh, I remember like when that happened, people would be like,
yeah. I was constantly reminding my opponent, like, oh, you have roll for super senses, and they'd just be like, girl. Like, all right, this is fine. This is fine. Anyway,
I am not Scott Porter. I was able to do this one time where somebody was dating me and they're like, no, I want to get to know your interests. And I'm like,
oh, you don't.
All right. And she went once.
Let me tell you the story. My wife and I, we met in Austin.
Very respectfully beautiful woman. You
season 3 of Friday Night Lights. Yes. And we're getting ready to move. We're getting ready to she's moved in with me. We've been living together. When I was pretty much roommates with Zach Gilford the entire time I was on Friday Night Lights, and she kind of moved in with us. It was just like she was all of a sudden there as a part of Zach's household.
Yeah,
it's like, what's going on? And we're like, we should probably go get our own place. So we go to get our own apartment, and I'm like, okay, this is great. We've packed everything up. We're about to move to this new apartment, and I'm like, all right, I got to go to the storage unit. She's like, what storage unit? And I was like, well, it's in the apartment complex, but I have a storage unit, and I had a storage unit with workbench tables, and all of my Clix and everything was in the storage unit. And she did not know how much I had.
Yeah.
She's like, storage unit. And she walks in, and it's like this mad nerd scientist laboratory. She was like, what the hell is this? Where are we going to put this? I was like, I'll just get another storage unit.
My storage unit has storage units.
I just have to clean this storage unit out. Yeah. And it's a bone of contention to this day between me and my wife. We actually, she's like, this has to go. These HeroClix have to go. I'm like,
that's why Scott does this still. He's tying everything in to make sure that he can get I understand that. I respect that. This is not a burn. I totally respect that.
Yeah, man.
One of the things I think so interesting is when you're, I'm actually dating again, and when you're dating somebody and you say you play this, they assume you have 12, or something. About as many
1,200.
Yeah. About as many chess pieces as there are is about how big they expect you to be. Like, oh, just bring all your HeroClix with you, and you could put it in a little baggie. And then you show them this mecca, and they're like, oh my god, this is all your HeroClix. I'm like, no, this is modern. The rest are in storage. So yeah, Scott, here's my question for you. I will donate $50 to charity if you answer this incredibly seriously. All right, I mean this, $50. Okay. Hey, I want dating advice for everybody here. Okay, you're going out on dates. What is the date in which you will talk about HeroClix first, okay? And what's the date you will show the HeroClix collection? Optimally, $50 for charity here, because this is real. I'm actually asking you this question now.
I'm a big believer in presenting all of who you are. Hold
on. I'm going to put a lens. Pretend you're not super pretty.
Okay.
Pretend you look like a thumb.
Okay. Because this is no offense to our listeners. There's many pretty listeners, but not professionally attractive listeners.
I think it's even more important then to present everything that you are pretty early, because you don't want to waste your time Here's what you need to do. Value yourself more than the person sitting across the table from you. If the person across the table from you can get down with all the stuff you love to do, then you're not wasting your time. That's what I say. Present pretty early. Start talking about nerd stuff on the first date
early. But
talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, maybe, date number 2. And then hit him with the old 1-2 tabletop, competitive collectible comic book game. Why not?
Date 1 from even
Date
Scott
3.
Porter is not
Date
bringing
3.
it up on date 1. There's a date 2 at least.
Yeah, probably.
What about
probably not.
what about
It's a date
showing?
3.
Like, would you show a girl your Hero Clicks collection the first time she comes over?
I didn't show my wife my HeroClix collection until 6 months into dating. So
Okay.
take that as you will.
Okay.
Would you ever send a woman an unsolicited picture of your collection?
Clicks of your clicks.
Unsolicited clicks. Pics. Unsolicited click pics. We
Hey, baby,
probably will
check this out.
All right. We are not going to be able to get to everything, but what we cannot not get to is we are going to do one more quick reading here. We have 2 other sponsors, one paid for both. I will let Scott kind of read this one. Again, it's the same Mark who I, for some reason, cannot cut and paste into. Okay. Hey, we're going to go back to our sponsors here because they did pay the charity, 100% going to charity here. They sent me the receipts. So if you would do that, and Scott, while you're doing that, I'm actually going to put some of the trays that they made up on screen so you can kind of see. This is really what it looks like.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
It is.
Everybody
awesome.
out there in HeroClix land, if you would love to take your gaming to the next level, you need to visit flarypoppins.com. It's an Etsy shop that specializes in vinyl decals and custom dice trays for all your gaming needs. From Dungeons and Dragons to HeroClix, I got to tell you, you can't, you don't want to put critical clicks on everything, but you could be rolling critical hits in style with these trays from Flary Poppins. So make sure you go to flarypoppins.com. That's the Etsy shop, or you can follow Flary Poppins on Instagram at Flary Poppins. That's FLARYPOPPINS. Flary Poppins for all your vinyl decal needs.
That was far and away the cheapest promo Scott has ever done in his entire life. So thank you, Scott, for doing that. Once again, shout out to Grayson, his son, who is turning 2 today, which he was just kind of that. Then we have
now. I want to say Grayson could be named after another incredible superhero, Invincible. Mark Grayson.
Okay, yeah.
2 of my favorites, Nightwing and Invincible.
Have they come out with Invincible season 2 yet? Because that cartoon was amazing.
It is on the way.
Gosh, I love Amazon's shows. Like when they.
I am not in it, and I'm very upset. Yeah, no.
I'm actually not in it either, Lucas. Or did you?
I think I might have missed the call, but yeah, as of right now, not in it.
PJ is in it briefly, as guy.
He's the leprechaun in the back corner.
Did PJ freeze?
Yeah, he did. On a very serious face. It's hilarious.
Serious face.
He's still thinking about what date to talk about.
Okay, so I'm not sure what's happening with PJ right now. That's fine. But I do want to mention we had one other person, and me and Lucas and maybe PJ will state this, and then Scott Porter will chime in with a little bit more here. But we had one other person, Matt Peterson, from what's his team name again, Lucas?
That is, I believe, Asgard to Mouth.
Asgard to Mouth.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
Words are classy. Remember that we did play something at the beginning. Scott, if you want earmuffs, that's fine. But he wanted one simple message about Ryan Redmond. Lucas, why don't we do it together? Okay. Mm-hmm. Ryan Redmond is a penis. That's correct. Ryan Redmond, you're a penis. Mark did a whole thing, professional, putting out his business. Matt Peterson just simply wants Ryan Redmond to know that he's a penis. Congratulations.
I gotta say, I've met Ryan Redmond, and if he is just a giant penis, that penis has huge biceps.
Huge arms for a penis. Congratulations, Ryan Redmond.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. You know what? That's 100 to charity, though. That's
100 to charity. Absolutely.
I want to say thank you to both this person and Ryan.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. Thank you,
Ryan
Asgard.
Redmond caught a stray for a HeroClix for Huntington's,
Thank
and
you,
I could
Matt
not be more
Peterson.
appreciative. Thank you, Matt Peterson.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to do speed round here, Scott, because I know you got to get going. We've had a lot of fun here. So me and Lucas will fire off, but let's try to do as fast as we can because I know that you have kind of a car wash of different podcasts to do today. All right, AJ Kilgore. If WizKids got the rights to do a set on any video game, what would you choose, Scott?
I said this last week on the live stream. Destiny. I would love it if they did Destiny. I think there's so many different elements to all the different alien races in it, and you've got 3 basic classes and warlocks and titans and hunters, and they all have subclasses. I mean, you could make like an all generic set and it'd be pretty awesome. But then you also have rest in peace Lance Reddick as commander to Zavala, and you had Nathan Fillion's character Cade 6. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff. A whole Destiny 2 set would be awesome.
Absolutely. I will also mention mine would be Mortal Kombat, and the figures would be able to break off, like their head could come off or something like that, a la fatalities.
And who knows? They might just do that in shipping.
They might just do that in shipping. Gosh darn it, you guys are sending so many things. I have to literally get rid of this thing. Lucas, do you have the next one so that I can possibly I can possibly mute this
Michael
chat real
Kupak
quick?
was asking, Scott, do you remember what was in the first booster you ever purchased?
Ooh,
yes, I do actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I pulled Cyclops in my first ever booster, and my friend Rick, who has since passed away, rest in peace, Rick. He pulled Firelord, and we did not know how the game was played. And Cyclops and Firelord were killing everything in one shot everywhere on the map. And that was Cyclops is my MVP, and Firelord was just unstoppable. I couldn't figure out we were playing wrong, but Firelord was broken anyway. So yeah, that was Cyclops is my first ever booster, Cyclops.
All right. Absolutely.
PJ cannot get back in.
And my first ever unique was Thanos, actually. First ever unique was Thanos. I remember that. That was my 3rd booster. I was like, this is cool.
Adam M wants to know why are Scott Porter's figures playable, and why is Crampton's bystander not?
Actually, I think this is a really interesting thing, and I mentioned it on the live stream. Scott Crampton's Pog gets better if you play it with Scott Porter's Pog.
It does.
Because he hits on a critical hit, and he's dealing 5 damage at that point. But if you play it with the Scott Porter Pog, critical hits are 10, 11, and 12. So all of a sudden, this 4-point figure can actually start hitting at 4 range for 5 damage on a 10 or higher, which I think is kind of great. Why the Scott Porter figures are playable?
They're insane. The biggest thing to note is that this has not been said in any podcast, so I want to get it out there first. The Scott Porter, the correct number is 2. If you're playing a theme team, you're going to play both. And they're unique, right? They're unique?
I think so.
Yes.
If I recall
correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
No, otherwise, legitimately, the correct answer could be like 6. But like, you would play both, and then you can play my Pog because it doesn't break theme.
That's right. That's right.
So to get a little meta here, speaking of Crampton's Pog, one thing I will point out, because you had mentioned if you play the Crampton Pog with the Porter Pog, it's easier to crit hit. I know I had mentioned this to Crampton at the Kilted Classic. There is actually a way to make it so that you have a 40% chance of crit hitting.
That is correct.
So if you play the Porter Pog, the Star Tarot card that makes 1s, 6s, and then Donna Troy Prime from Wonder Woman 80 that makes your first attack roll of a 7, a crit hit, you actually have a 7/18 chance of crit hitting, which is just approximately 40%. So 1 out of 6.
There's 2 other cards too, right? Because you can also do the doubles strength that equals a critical hit on doubles, correct?
Yep.
And then you can also do the tarot card that basically is what Scott Porter does. So
yeah, but here's the Star is the one that gives you the best odds. So there is actually ways to make it work for those who are wondering.
Yeah. You can and Scott Porter +1 damage. If you play only con exclusives, only WizKids figures, that technically does work as they're all one set. So you could play both Porters and my Pog and every WizKids exclusive, and that's
I
technically
hadn't
one
thought
set.
about that. That's right, because the set is technically the click space with the WK as the
as
promo
a set. So,
set. The promos are kind of a set of themselves. I got to get clear. I got to make sure that's 100% true. That's
because there's
awesome.
things like old school Galactus or something like that, where that's technically part of WizKids. Like there's some of these older school Golden Age figures. Like
here's what I really wanted with the Scott Porter figures, though, is I wanted one that would hang back a little bit and be like a one person pit crew. Because you remember back in the day, we'd have, a Jean Grey for cheap telekinesis. We'd have a con artist for cheap perplex. We'd have,
Spot, right?
One of the LE, the Jane Foster LE for like cheap support. And Scott Porter basically does that for the HeroClix for Huntington's variant. But the other one I wanted to be out on the map. And I love the fact that, I ignore friendly figures for Pulse Wave, the power bomb version of Scott Porter, and you get that knockback, which somebody mentioned earlier, stripping powers, knocking back 3, throw them into a wall or off of a building, and all of a sudden this little mobile pulse waving is really helping with some map control.
Oh yeah, it's a really, like, these are not good figures. These are tier 1 figures, and actually, like when we did the Celtic Classic, there was almost 0 theme teams. Not exactly 0, but very close. This will make theme teams actually meta again.
Well, that's what I wanted to. I wanted theme PC back.
Yes.
And the only way to do
as
it
long
was
as
to
you're
reword it on the figure.
As long as your team has Scott Porter on it, theme is back.
Yeah.
And I love that it brought back everything that theme you took away, like everything that theme took away. And if they ever bring back the probs, oh my God, it's going to be so many probs from you and the theme. But I'm very excited for that. The honest truth is that the theme teams need to exist in HeroClix. There needs to be that kind of thing. So I'm really excited. All right. Any other questions that we do need to do? A bunch. Oh, do you prefer Scott, Scotty, or Scooter?
No, I'm Scott.
Which
no
one's
Scotty?
your favorite?
No Scooter. Absolutely no Scooter.
Scooter is horrible, and not.
I hate it.
That is not a real Scottism. Also, Anthony Barnstable did the classic, but I would ask a question, but Scotty doesn't know. And these are the kind of. This is the kind of Scottism, Scott hate. That me and Scott have been dealing with our whole lives, including the Beam Me Up. Did you get a lot of Beam Me Up going in like elementary school and shit?
Yeah, but that one is okay for me because my grandpa worked very briefly on Star Trek, and he has he got a crew hat that says "Beam Me Up, Scotty. This place sucks." And I've still got this old like trucker hat from like the old Star Trek days that my grandpa Bob
That's
got for me,
dude.
That's
like
dope.
that's got to be worth a lot too.
No, Crampton. That's a priceless item.
Yeah, it just sits on it sits on top of my 90s X-Men arcade box in my man cave, and it just sits. It's like on the top of that throne. Those are two things I cherish more than almost anything else in the house outside of my wife and kids and dogs. So,
damn right.
All right. So, can we get one more question, and maybe Michael Holloway?
Yeah, so Michael Holloway says, what is your favorite ever HeroClix moment?
Oh, man. Oh. I mean, I don't want to be saccharine on this, but any big tournament win, any big championship I won, anything like that pales in comparison to seeing the community come together for these last couple of years. And yeah, man, I'd say a highlight was even losing to Mike last year in the semifinals of the Scott Porter versus the World Tournament, because it's just, I was getting to meet players that I've known, virtually for a long time, but in person during a weekend when we're raising over $25,000 for a charity that means a lot to me. So, I mean, at this point, I don't think there's any other answer outside of these weekends because they mean the world to me.
He had a follow-up question of, so last year I won. If I win this year again, will it be Mike Holloway versus the world?
Here's the thing. If he pulls Iron Allfather again, whatever that figure is.
Scott, I beat Iron Allfather just fine.
Whatever that.
That's right. Yeah, you did.
I did. I was the only person to beat him.
Yeah, you had a crazy team. You had a prime. You had a bunch of stuff.
I just missed every attack in top 8. That's literally what happened. Yeah.
The main focus of my team was Crusader, and to make it to the top 4 with Crusader being my
Absolutely.
backbone, I'll take it. That being said, like if he pulls another tent pole, absolutely not.
Yes.
If he pulls an auto win figure, and it's Avengers 60th that we're playing with. Very few people have seen the set. People who have watched my unboxing will get just a small sample of what is in the set, and my unboxing will air May 1st through the 5th. So the end of my unboxing series will culminate on the day that we're playing that tournament, and then we'll all get spoiled together on what the heck's in the rest of the set. But I would be willing to bet that with these multiversal Masters of Evil that Jason Aaron created during his Avengers run, we're going to see a couple of Iron Allfathers. There's going to be a couple of auto win
Iron Allfather again.
I like auto win stuff in this set. So
we could actually make a rule that says you have to play it on the lower point if there is one, but that's almost impossible because we don't know.
Who cares? Listen, here's the thing. No, it will never be my Call Away versus the World. When you can start your own charity event, Mike, you can go ahead and name it whatever you want. But until the end,
I will make a trophy. If you win, Mike, I will make a trophy next year, assuming you're there. That is a special Mike Holloway versus the World trophy. And if you want to change it officially, Mike, win that tournament, and then the second your show gets picked up for a season 3, you can definitely do it, man. And which I'm pre-congratulating Scott. I don't know if it's officially been picked up, but Ginny and George is going 5 seasons, man. Congratulations. That is a home run show. That very well may be that may be what people remember you for more than anything else, as crazy as that is. So congratulations. Very, very hard for somebody to get one show to get another show that's just a wildfire. People don't talk about as much on here because, not gaming guys aren't necessarily the target audience, but congratulations. That's huge. That is huge.
Thanks, man.
They have not officially said anything, right? But it was the show.
Yeah, who knows how Netflix does their algorithm and all their stuff. We're just waiting patiently, hoping that we are going to be coming back. But man, outside of Greater Scott, probably the second highest thing I'll be remembered for.
Definitely being better than me somehow. All right, we're going to end with this. Huntington's. It starts May 4th. And Scott, when will you be there?
Yeah, I will be there the entire weekend. I get in at 1 in the afternoon.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And
yep.
We'll be there all the time.
Yeah, it's May 4th through the 7th for everybody participating in person, and it's also May 4th through the 7th for anybody participating virtually. Brad Broyles is going to be running all of the online battle royals. Auxit will be the place for you to go and bid on all of the awesome items we have in our auction, so you can play along at home. But we do have some really cool stuff going on for the people that are able to come down. So if you're on the fence still, hopefully last weekend talking about all the prizing that we have going on, we did the map unveils just a couple of days ago for the Racer Family Motors Garage and the variant. And that variant, your best chance of getting that's going to be, coming to the event. It's going to be awesome. And if you've never been to Lucky Dice, the cafe part of Lucky Dice is awesome. They have some of the best sandwiches you'll ever have.
Best sandwiches.
And it's just an awesome venue. Howard has a huge heart and loves this game, I think, just as much as anybody else in the world, maybe more. And has been such an awesome partner on all of this. So if you're on the fence, I say, if you can make it down, it definitely is worth it to come out to the event and play in some of these tournaments. We've got the Tracy Brock Memorial happening on Thursday night. We've got Scott Porter versus the World, the Avengers 60th, super duper pre-release happening on Friday.
Both of those events. If you are if you're new, you're listening to this, you're trying to figure out, can I play in silver? That doesn't matter. Thursday, pure fun. And Scott Porter will be right there, probably doing some battle royales, maybe playing, who knows? But the best chance you're going to get to play with Scott Porter, probably Thursday, because he's right there. It's the lowest attendance. Friday, pure fun, a set really unheard of. This never happened. 20 years of HeroClix. They have never one time released something this early. You will pay for your hotel by selling your 2 boosters and stop. That will be it. Like end
except
stop.
XDPS, but
David Newmark will be shelling out $1,000 bills left and right, right, for this.
He
kind
will
of
be
stuff.
there, so
I
yeah.
might too. Oh, like very legitimately. You can just take that, have Scott sign your box, and put it up on eBay, and boom, you've given money to charity and gotten some of your money back. And you don't even have to be great at HeroClix. So come down for that. The best fellowship prizes end stop in HeroClix.
Yeah, we have event weekend long fellowship stuff that happens. We got a team tournament happening on Saturday, and then of course the World Championships for Rock happening on Sunday. But the fellowship that we have for the HeroClix event throughout the weekend, we've got a team fellowship that's happening this year because of the Scott Porter Invitational Team Tournament on Saturday. So an entire team will be winning fellowship prizing for anybody that enters. And last year we had a weekend long fellowship prize that we handed out. Benjamin Umansky won it last year. Yep. And it really is for the person that just symbolizes what it is to be a positive force in the community. Mm-hmm. And last year, Ben came down and he even played in a team tournament that he wasn't even part of a team on, but somebody needed a guy. He steps in, he helps, pick up the slack there. He was playing in Battle Royals. He was there all weekend long. And he was just wanting to take in as much as he could and learn as much as he could. But with that attitude, so many people were being reminded of what it was to be a new player in this community. And everybody, there's the feeling of this weekend is just so cool.
Totally.
The support that happens this weekend. And it is just, the attitude for everybody throughout the entire weekend is just so positive. And it's such a cool thing. Yeah. The fellowship pricing for this event is insane. And, we've got tournaments for everyone. We really do have something for everybody.
It is I cannot stress enough that I understand when you see Sunday and you're like $2,000 prize, Silver Age, you might be like, this is for sharks. And that's totally fair. Like, that's totally fair. If you're like, I don't have the bandwidth to play in a $2,000 tournament with Lucas, Tom Van Hallen. I don't want to be sifting through which one is Tri-Sentinel, which one is his penis on the table. It can be hard to figure it out. I understand. Or is it just Ryan Redmond walking by? It's so hard to figure it out. But there'll be battle royales. Scott, you're not playing, I'm guessing, in the Sunday cutthroat tournament. You're playing battle royales on Sunday, aren't you?
That's right. As a part of our auction, actually,
yes,
we'll be auctioning off 2 online battle royals that I'll compete in, and auctioning off 2 in-person battle royals that I'll compete in, both Saturday and Sunday. So there's 4 guaranteed ways to sit across from me online over Saturday and Sunday, and 4 guarantees ways to sit at a table with me at Lucky Dice that you'd be able to do throughout the auction. But I will also be dropping in and out of other battle royals, whether it be online or in person, randomly throughout the weekend too. So even if you don't win those, I'll be in and out all day long. And I also will be definitely walking around the team tournament, because I want to say this: the prizing for the team that wins is epic. But the prizing for the team that wins fellowship is also epic. And I said this a couple of years ago when we did this thing virtually. We had a family theme. You had to have 2 people that were related on your team in order to play in the Scott Porter Invitational. This year, we don't have any of those overarching themes. But I am going to say, if you bring a really interesting, really unique, really fun theme for your team as you sit down at that table, that's going to factor in to fellowship. So 100%. If you think you can win the whole thing, by all means, pack whatever you want to into your build and try and win the whole thing. But if you fall short, you're probably going to be dinged a little bit on the fellowship side. If you come down playing something fun, playing something interesting, playing something, cool and previously unseen, like that'll win you some points as well. So people that come out, you can play 2 different ways in the tournament, in the Scott Porter Invitational Team Tournament. And I think that's really cool as well, is that there is a reward for coming down and, playing something cool and unique. And hopefully we won't see the same tournament sheets that we always see. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, but 100%. Well, I mean, and this is silver too, so we don't have comparisons. This is
my God, we have no idea what's coming.
Have no idea. But I cannot stress this enough. I know that HeroClix for Huntington's is my charity of choice. Obviously, it's universally all Scott's charities of choices. It's part of the union that me and Scott are in together as Scott Union people. But I want to be clear, because everybody here knows that I do a lot of tournaments. Lucas does a lot of tournaments. PJ, who left because Scott Porter requested it in chat, and is now banned from the tournament and banned from all events because of Scott Porter's crazy whims, also would agree. The best prizing, the most fun, and just the most casual too. And it doesn't seem casual when it's written down, but it is an incredible chill hangout place. Obviously, there's going to be the Daniel Powells, the high end people, the Caleb Reddicks and stuff like that are trying to win everything. But you're going to have a lot of fun. This should be for everybody coming down. This should be new players. You never have a better chance to win insane prizing than this weekend, even over Graceland. And I love Graceland. It's a good time. But this is different. This is different. This is special. I understand it's in Alabama. They did recently, after COVID, lift the rule that you have to marry somebody related to you when you enter the state lines. So,
Good.
Is this when you play that not all opinions or things
all
shared on
opinions.
this podcast are shared with me?
Scott has a deep Alabama following.
Okay.
I apologize. But this is the thing to come to, everybody.
Heart of Dixie, baby.
But if you cannot come, the auction is going. When does it actually go live, Scott? Because the most rare items in HeroClix, period, come at this auction.
Yeah, the auction's going to open up on Monday night of May 1st, and then it'll run all the way until the auction ends on May 5th, the evening of May 5th. That's a Friday. So we'll have a great number of the items already listed on May 1st. A couple of things might come in late that are really cool and unique and get added. But then, you could put in your base bids early in the week, get an understanding of what is on, because it's a massive auction. I mean, we have over 100 items yet again this year on the auction. So it might take people a couple of days to look and say, this is really what I want to bid on. This is something that I don't have that I would really love, whether it's special limited edition maps, or it's, the full on, House of Swords, like OP kit, or whatever it is, factory sets. Identify over those first couple of days, like what you really want to bid on, because the final hour on Friday, that thing starts popping off and it goes crazy. You join the auction through the HeroClix group on Auxit. It's an app that you need. If you're listening to this and you haven't done any auctions on Auxit, I would recommend joining and just kind of getting familiar with the chat and the way you bid, because that final hour, things go nuts. And for people that are at the event, Scott Crampton's going to be leading the auction for us. I've just decided this now.
Yeah. So it will be another episode of the long-running show, The Bald and the Beautiful. Auction edition, of course. We will be working our butts off. I was so proud of what happened in Orlando. One of the best things that's ever happened in HeroClix for Huntington was the are we allowed to say what type of championship it was, Scott? I honestly don't know.
The Drunken HeroClix Championship?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, listen.
People know seats with Scott Porter went slightly less than seats with Lucas Tom Van Holland, because people were not going to back down. They were like, "Oh God, this is the last chance." They thought, "Oh, it would be too high," and then it just went crazy. How much did people pay per seat for that?
$400 to sit next to me. Yeah,
$400. I know that 420. The final seat next to Scott actually did, through a donation by one of the 4 Point Gaming Club, people actually went for the most. I think at like $450 or $475 or something like that. But each person paid. The stuff goes 100% to charity. It's amazing. Jimmy O'Brien, everybody at WizKids did such a good job. I mean, this is one of the best things. One of the reasons I'm most proud to be a member of the HeroClix community. Joking aside, everything like that. It's a really, really harsh disease that does not get the funding. You might think, this isn't cancer, folks. And obviously very serious disease as well. But like, this is a rarer thing for funding. And they need the money. It's not just flowing in. These kind of events really, really do help. I know Scott had said you hit a certain amount, they build like an awareness place or something like that. Or
they call it a center for excellence, where they can fully equip the doctors at a particular hospital or care center with all the information, all of the assets that they would need to be able to help families who are dealing with this right now. Because finding a cure is one thing, but you also have these forgotten families who are seeking help because they have a family member who's dealing with Huntington's. And that's really, we put a lot of this money into making sure that we build out these centers of excellence. And in the few years that we've been doing HeroClix for Huntington's, we've been able to get 4 up and running because of our little event. And, it's incredible. Justin, Jake, Jimmy, Brian, everybody over at WizKids, Howard, and all of the judges, the entire team that have donated their time, Coos, Aaron, Beezy,
Brad
Brad,
Boyles, who does an amazing job of running, like, honestly, one of the biggest revenue drivers, which is
yes, and he does it like as a one-man army, man.
Unbelievable.
You can't tell. He this year was like, I also want to run a Silver Age online tournament alongside all the online battle royals, and I was like, maybe next year, man. We got to figure out, because that's another avenue of prizing. We want to make sure that everything that we do, that players who take part in it really feel like the reward, economy is really great for them as well. We want everybody who comes and plays to feel like they took part in something that they had a chance to actually take something home from as well. So anyway,
just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, save your money here. Save your money, because if you're put down the booster for right now, there's nothing better to do with your money. It all goes to charity. It makes it so easy. You end up with, like, you do the battle royales, you get a pog. Scott's pog, I saw at one point in time going for like $100, and my pog is 10,000 times better than Scott's pog. So $1,000, $2,000. It's hard to know how much it will go for, but at least 4 Carnage surfers. Get 1 pog, trade it to Lucas. He will take all of them. He has 50 Carnage surfers, giving them away.
I have a lot of cardboard I could just hand you in exchange. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But we have to let Scott go. So excited. It's coming up 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. Wow.
It's 2 weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
2
May
weeks
4th through the 7th.
Plan. There are still plenty of Airbnbs where you can crash like 6 or 7 people. I checked that out a few days ago when my friends got one. So many different ways to go. This is the event, and we will stop plugging after this. But this is the event to go to. Everybody should go to. It should be overcrowded. It's insane. Nothing is like this in HeroClix. It's crazy that literally Worlds will not have stuff like this or prizing like this. Winning Worlds is probably almost the same prizing level as Fellowship at this event. So go do it. And here's a fun fact. Me and Lucas almost definitely not going to be able to win Fellowship. So, like, all the top tier players, it's not probably going to us, guys. It's not going there. So I want to thank our special guest, Scott, who, what did you want to say to PJ? Because you obviously kicked him out. Anything you want?
No, I can't wait to hug that little guy next time I see him. I was gonna say Hobbit. I have super hairy feet, so we're like hobbits together, me and PJ.
You're like the stronger hobbit that people don't point at, though.
Yeah, like the tall, handsome hobbit. They're like the one that the Shire was always worried about, like trying to go.
They just call that a man.
Anyway, no, I just wanted to say thank you to PJ. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Lucas, for spending the time with me today. I do have to bounce and go to another podcast.
Thank you very much, Scott Porter. And until then, this is Critical Clix, Scott, PJ, Scott, and Lucas. Remind you that if you're not playing competitively,
you might as well be playing with yourself. Good night.
Good night. All right. Thanks, man. Yeah, we had a bit too much fun there. And
no, that's awesome.